Okay, last one for the day. Last one in this 100 and something heat. It's supposed to drop. It's 106 today. It's supposed to drop like down to 91 next week, and I couldn't be more excited. Anyway, 87 and 95 factory tub. You can YJ tub, of course. And then I mentioned that because so this is an early one. Doesn't really matter. They're all the same. However, there's a couple small things I guess you could say on the firewall, but most of the things you won't notice. The early ones do make, the people that are doing CJ7 conversions do like the earlier ones for those minor things. I'm trying to think off the top of my head. My brain's a little fried today, but there's the way the canister emissions, the battery trays, the way they bolt on, they go from sideways to horizontal, not vertical, but landscape versus no, I'm just teasing. Anyway, it's just the orientation of the battery, and so that's one of the reasons. But other than that, they're the same. And if you don't mind those things being swapped, you can use any one in that conversion. But and then the YJs, obviously, if you have a later YJ, that would change on it as well. Or you can put some nut certs and go back to the other orientation, which you can see it over there, the way that those two top pole mounts and then those guys down there make for that bird, that more longer, I guess is what it is. It's mounts this way versus the bigger side of the battery up against the firewall, which they change for obvious reasons later. But anyway, that's it. It's a Laredo. That's not going to mean a ton to you, except for if you have a Renegade, a Laredo, a Sahara, then it may be beneficial to buy a tub like this, because these holes down here, and I did a tub earlier that had those as well, are only going to be for those tubs. If you don't have those and you're going to be running a step or want those steps, this would be ideal. Or if you're going to be running a rock slider, no big deal, that will cover all those up. And if you're not, this tub will still make a good tub for you, and a lot of people will still buy these because tubs are getting so hard to get, especially clean ones, and then they'll fill those holes in. So but definitely keep in mind that I try to show the differences and also the damage if there is any. And all these tubs I've shown you the last couple hours today have been out of the Southwest, so it's where we like to get most of our Jeep inventory and whatnot, and they're just getting harder and harder to get, especially the B's and A's, I would call. And I'm not going to go into those grades right now. I'm going to try to keep this under 10 minutes. The last couple have been over that. So floors are beautiful. Obviously it's white, so you're going to have scratches. That's common, no big deal there. All the bolt holes for the roll bar, as you can see, we pull everything. And again, as I've said so many times before, we do that for your benefit. So, I mean, it and ours as well. I mean, we do sell everything off these, so that's one of the reasons. But the other reason is these are very easy to strip out and break off, and it becomes a total pain in the ass when you go to reinstall this. If you're all excited and all of a sudden you come across a broken bolt, well, then the next hour spent on extraction and yada yada, drilling out. It's not very fun. So we try to get all that done for you. And if I notice something broken off, I'll mention it to you, but otherwise not. I did mention this earlier, and I wanted to show you. This is a perfect example of a windshield frame. Luckily, just the windshield frame. If they had let this go any longer, it would eventually leach into this paint, peeled it, bare metal would have showed up, and then rust would have began up here. So this is all smooth as can be. It's just the paint itself. I'm guessing the windshield frame, and I didn't see this windshield frame, but I'm guessing that was gone underneath. The gasket probably went and then started leaching off the color. But again, there's absolutely no rust here, but definitely got that color of it. And you can see it up in here, nice and clean. That's bare metal, like it should be all the way across. Okay, floorboards are clean, no dents or damage from the bottom. That's not super uncommon. I see that quite a bit. And sometimes we've even done it on accident with the forklift. So it's, but this is nice clean here. There's a little bit of material on this one, and I thought it was glue at first. I got a little bit off earlier, but I don't know if my guess is they had something and spilled it in the back of this thing. It's only in a couple areas, and it wouldn't take much, but I will knock off a little bit because there's a little cleanup there. It looks like some sort of, maybe rubber cement, or it's pretty hard. So, but I got a lot of it off just with the pressure washer, and then a little scraper should get most of that. And the extent of it is pretty minimal, but it is there. So something I'd rather you see now than later. The outside super clean, the rockers super clean. Flare area, nice and clean. This is obviously with the rear sticker. Again, those are slightly different. The later ones are painted, it's like the graphics are kind of painted into them versus this one's got a raised lettering that goes back there. A couple scratches, a little bit of damage up there. Who knows what that was from? That might have been from, my guess is belt rails from a soft top, and maybe they got them stuck and try to wiggle them out. Who knows? But it's only in that spot there. The rest of these are all real clean. You want this super clean if you're going to be running a hard top or even a belt rail for a soft top. This corner is beautiful. Most of the ones I've had today have had a little bit of damage on them, especially this corner, but this one's really nice. There's some scratches, but lower rocker of the tailgate's nice and clean. This one's got a ding here, driver or passenger corner. Not too bad, but a little bit. And yes, you can get up in here real easy. Otherwise, that one's pretty good. It's got a small ding there. The scratches at the top again. This one had a gasket all over the top. I got all that off for you. And it kind of looked like this actually, and this is really easy to get off, glue gun or whatever you want to use for that. So flare area nice and clean, lower rocker nice and clean here, and then of course the cowl, beautiful, no damage, no dings, no cowl, anything like that. Nice clean firewall. I'll show you the floors one more time just because they really speak for themselves. And then I'm going to raise it in the air and show you how clean the bottom is. The bottom's absolutely gorgeous. Torque pockets are perfect. All the ones I listed today didn't have a single thing on the bottom that I could even show you. They were all perfect on the bottom. Okay, so we'll just start like I've done all of them. Passenger side, first torque pocket, easy one to get to. Get your hand back in here. Okay, these all float around. They're supposed to move. So that's when you can align it to your frame bushings. Okay, next one. Nice clean threads. Look how shiny those are. Okay, that's how they should be. I mean, obviously you're not going to see that in the Midwest, East Coast for a top, but you can put some anti-seize on these. Going back in there, there's some rust proofing thread stuff you can do. Otherwise they will eventually seize, especially if you're in a rusty area. Nice and clean there. Okay, now we're onto the driver's side. There you go. Okay, real quick, I'll show these guys. I've been making sure everybody understands how important it is to pull roll bar. This is the area that it would rot and it would blow a hole right here. CJs are real common for it, and YJs will do it too. This one's beautiful there. And also on the passenger side. And show this on the other side with nice clean seams. Not even beginning of anything through there. Same thing there. Okay, and then lastly we got our driver's side. Nice clean threads there. That's your first of these, and there's 11 of these in total, 10 of them on the body. And then one at the center of the radiator support, which is your grill. Okay, so a couple little things. This will come off, that will come off. That's for an automatic transmission. You won't need it unless you have that. If you do, you can call. We do sell those, are hard to find. It's for the linkage for the kickdown cables. Okay, normally we pull these. These ones will be on here. I'll leave these alone because they are exhaust hangers and they are stainless up through here, but these are rust, or these are metal and they will rust. So we'll keep that one on. And I think that's it. I apologize, I'm a little bit lean in my voice all of a sudden just because I've gotten a little tired. The heat's taking it out, but I got what I wanted to get done today. We're gonna go up camp, enjoy the weekend. My little guy only got a couple more, well, probably a couple months actually of nice weather, but here soon the falls. If you've ever experienced a Colorado fall, there's probably not much else like it, although I will say there's some eastern states that get some nice falls too. Anyway, we ship all over the U.S. We will ship all over the world. It's very expensive to ship in the world, but the East Coast, West Coast, Northeast. I personally, I went to Maine. I drove all the way to Maine in December and in March, as well as Wisconsin, Upper UP, Michigan. I've done about 42,000 miles myself this year since December 10th of 2022, so about 8 months. And now in our summer months, I don't do that as much. I have a Washington trip coming up, and then I'll again, my wife's pregnant right now, so probably won't be going too many trips in the next year, but we'll see. We have a fantastic hot shot crew right now, so that's what we're using, and otherwise we'll freight it. And if we freight them, these get crated. We build custom crates for them. And I think that's it. Questions, comments, concerns, give me a holler. 303-666-9020. And I appreciate you hanging out with me today.